Hi, I'm Patty Tucker. Welcome to JumpStart Bridge. I hope you're going to enjoy teaching bridge to your students and have a good time learning it for yourself as well. I thought it might help if I gave you just a short introduction video. There's some videos of me teaching all of the classes right below this one. And there's also some videos at the end that show you kind of what supplies that you get and how actually the cards are played, and just some videos that I thought might help you kind of grasp everything if bridge was new to you. But let's get started and see how you like it. Share this. So this is in your teacher's guide. Towards the middle. The first half, as you remember, is the student workbook. And it talks to you about the mechanic, each of the 8 classes. As you look through, you'll see that there is a outline of the class, what you're in, we think that you will cover. I timed it out for you and told you what supplies you needed and that type of thing. And then I gave you a script, which of course you won't use. You're a teacher, you know how to present material to your students, but it might give you some idea how a bridge player might approach the topics and how we might present the material. So I expect that you're going to put it in your own words, but I thought having a guideline might help you. You also are welcome to just play the videos. If you have a smart TV or some way to project in your classroom, you can play the videos of me teaching the classes, pause when there's an activity, facilitate the activity, and then restart the video. Um, I think that you know your students better than I do, and that it would be better maybe to view the videos yourself and then present the material in your own words. But if you don't feel confident right away doing that, showing the videos, I know several teachers have started that way and it worked fine for them. So it's whatever makes you feel most comfortable and that you like better. So here we go. Class 1. And on these classes, there are 8 classes. They're geared towards 45-minute classes. You do not have to get through all 8 courses in your first semester of bridge. I'm going to give you a way that you might break things down a little bit if that works better for you. As we go along, you'll see kind of how that works. So the first class is just the mechanics of bridge. What a deck of cards looks like, the suits, which cards are stronger than others. Ace is highest, 2 is lowest. Dealing the cards, sorting into suits, and how you play what we call a trick. In bridge, you always have 4 people playing, and each one will play a card one at a time. Those 4 cards are called a trick. Now, the first hand you play is just high card wins. They do have a partner. In bridge, we always have a partner, person across the table. And they're trying to win tricks just like you are. Highest card in the suit lead wins. So that's pretty straightforward. It goes fairly quickly. The kids like it. You're going to find one of the hardest things is for them to deal the cards and then sort their hands, because of course there's 13 cards that they're going to be holding, 4 players, 52 cards in the deck. And that's very difficult for them, especially if they're not used to playing cards, to organize and hold those cards. In the resources section on your Get Started page, there is a way to make a card holder out of a Reynolds wrap box. Of course, taking off the metal strip, but it's a way that they could build their own card holder without much trouble. Some people use a shoebox, invert it upside down, and put the cards in between the lid and the back of the shoebox. So there's all kinds of easy ways if you're dealing with younger kids who have trouble holding that many cards. There's easy ways for you to circumvent that. So the first class is just getting used to how the tricks are played, how the cards are played, and having fun. The second class, we add a trump suit. In bridge, there's one suit that might be stronger than any other suit. When you have a trump suit, the highest trump played wins. The key is that if you can follow suit, if you have a card in the suit that was led, you have to play it. Then if you don't, and there's a trump suit, you could play a trump and win. That's all explained in the class material. But again, it's just dealing out the cards, putting them in order, sorting your hand, and playing a hand. So the first two have them started playing hands and having a good time and working with the cards. Class three, we get into a little bit of the strategy and the scoring in bridge. What happens in bridge is that some contracts, some suits, if you have a trump suit, are more valuable in terms of scoring than others. So this discusses minor suits, what the minor suits are, the major suits, and the tricks, how you score points. Um, there's a whole thing in there about it. There's also a better score if you're willing to bid to a higher level, commit to winning more tricks. You don't quite understand the words I'm using right now because you haven't looked through the entire curriculum. But I think I do a pretty good job of explaining how that works. I hope so anyway. And if not, you can always send me questions or give me a call. Uh, you're in the middle of it, you're reviewing, you're trying to understand it, you don't get something, call me on the phone. I'm happy to talk to you. So, one of the things that is interesting about bridge, other than just the play of the cards, is the kind of high level strategy thinking that you have to do. You have to make a determination of risk and gain. So it's kind of interesting the way that that works. And also in the scoring, you have to add and subtract. You have to be able to add and multiply or add, 20, 20, 20, 20 together and get that score. So we start the math in bridge very quickly. With the strategy and scoring, you might want to go over it, have them do the exercises, and then just play, just like they were doing in class 1 and 2. Just play some hands. Come back the next week, review the strategy and scoring. Maybe add a little extra piece to it. Again, getting them to deal some hands out and decide where they want to play. You're not required to move first week, second week, third week, fourth week. If you feel like there was a little bit more in class 3 that they need to talk about, do class 3 twice. Maybe you do class 1 and class 2, and your third class is them just playing hands out. Maybe they would like an opportunity just to play, get used to holding the cards, understand how the game works, and just play with each other and have a good time. That's fine. We're fine with that. Class 4 introduces something called high card points. It's a way we can evaluate how strong your hand is, and then gives you a game they can play called mini bridge. If you spent the entire semester and only got through class 4 and just were able to play mini bridge at the end of your semester, that would be perfect. There's a lot of material in here, and especially with you not playing bridge or knowing how to play bridge. Maybe you haven't, asked me to find someone to help you locally. That's fine. If you want to do it yourself, I'm happy with that too. But I can usually find some local player or local teacher who's willing to give you a few hours if you just need some help. But even if you just get through class 4 and you have the kids playing mini bridge, that is great. The American Contract Bridge League, where you get your supplies from, does a tournament every year in the summer called the Youth North American Bridge Championship. And they have one of their games is a mini bridge game. It's just for kids who haven't learned a whole lot yet, but wanted to come play and compete and have a good time and meet a bunch of other kids. At the end of your semester, you can play a tournament using mini bridge. So there's no problem. We can set up a way for you to play tournament or a game, all the kids playing together, and see who can win for mini bridge. You really need to just think about going at your own pace and the pace of the students. We want them to have a good time playing bridge. We do want them to learn. We want them to get the strategy, the scoring, the risks, the game, figuring out how to uh, calculate their score, how to count their high card points. We want all those things to happen, but there's no requirement that you get through all 8 classes in one semester. If after those first 4 classes, you think the kids are having a good time, but they're not quite ready to move to the bidding, which is kind of what separates bridge from a lot of other card games, you could actually go to class 7 and 8, which are play techniques, playing when you're in a suit contract, a trump contract, and also playing just high card wins. Those play techniques involve a lot of probability, some techniques about how to create extra tricks, depending on the cards you have in both hands, how to play a suit so that you can win the most tricks possible. Class 8, the playing a trump contract, talks about how to take advantage of having a trump suit to create more tricks. So you could go through the first 4 classes and then do class 7 and 8 if you wanted. And you could spend 2 or 3 weeks on 7 and 8. Again, there's not a requirement for how many of the actual classes you get through in a semester. If the kids have been having a great time, they're chomping at the bit, they want to find out about the rest of bridge, then from class 4, you could go straight to class 5 and class 6, which are how you do the bidding in bridge. The very first steps of bidding, opening the bidding and responding. So that's just an overview, but what I really wanted to kind of share with you and get across to you is there is really not this daunting requirement that you have to wind your way through all of the material. Do what's comfortable. If it's comfortable to get through the first 4 classes, do that. If you only get through the first 2 and then you want to do 7 and 8, you want to do 1 and 2, this is how you play a hand. Now let's see how you can win more tricks. That's okay with me as well. It needs to be what is comfortable and fun for the students and for you. You need to have a good time while you're doing it. Bridge is supposed to be fun. So I'm going to show you one more thing if I can find it. There's some review sheets. You'll see them at the end of the student manual. There are some review sheets, which are like homework kind of, but it's just like a review. And then on page, at the end of your teacher manual, let me share again here, there's what we call boards or hands. The plastic material, the little plastic holders with the slots in the side are the boards for these class hands. Each of the classes is set up with some pre-dealt boards, pre-configured hands. Those boards, 1 through 4, for instance, go with no trump. You could take those plastic boards that you got and put the cards in the correct slots. Here, board 1, the north hand has the 8, 7, 3 of spades, the ace, king, 4, 3 of hearts, etc. And you could set up the hands so that the hands would match exactly the PowerPoint that you have in the worksheet. The kids can also do that. There's a video at the end of your class material, the videos of the class, that tells you how to, we call it call the cards. You can have each of the students take one of the suits and tell them which cards to put into which hands. So there's some ways that you can do it, get the kids to help you do it. If you only have a couple of tables of kids, you could do it beforehand. It doesn't take that long after you get used to it. And then everything would match up perfectly. So from a teaching perspective, I think that's a good thing to do. But you also have to think about how much time you have. And I know you have a lot of requirements that you have to get through in your normal school day. Please feel free to call me always. I'm always available. If I don't get your message right away, I will call you back. I answer all my emails, so I'd love to hear from you. And in most cities in the United States, we have some bridge players. So I can almost always find someone that's at least willing to come in and help you for a couple of hours a day. If you hit a place that's rough and you think, oh, I'm not sure how to do this. We want you to be successful and we want you to have fun with it and we want the kids to have fun. So let us know how we can help. Thanks.